Councillor Kelly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And I'll start by saying that I'm pleased with the overall direction of this budget, and I do intend to support it. For Ward 5, public safety and core services are not abstract line items. They're daily realities for residents spread across a large rural geography. So I'm encouraged to see continued investment in policing and paramedics and our transportation network. Those increases matter in my ward. People want to feel safe in their homes and on their roads, and they want to know that when they call for help, someone's coming. I appreciate that this budget recognizes those pressures. I'm also supportive of the ongoing major infrastructure work highlighted for Ward 5, investments in water and wastewater capacity, renewal of community facilities, and of course, the execution of some of the Rural Summit priorities, such as ditching and drainage improvements. That is all good news. That said, I do want to be honest about how this budget feels at the ward level. I'm slightly underwhelmed by this year's Ward 5 highlights, not because there isn't money in the ward, there is. I think if you were to combine the capital and operational spending that's going into Ward 5, there's a lot more money coming in than there is coming out. But I do want to touch on the fact that the highlights don't reflect the priorities that residents have been raising with me consistently throughout this term of council. When people read the highlight packages, they expect to see what they've been asking for. The issues that show up in community meetings, emails, and service requests month after month. And when they don't see them, it creates a disconnect between what we approve here and what they experience on the ground. One clear example is noxious weed control, especially wild parsnip. This has been one of my most persistent rural quality of life and safety issues I've heard about. Residents have been asking for a stronger, more productive program for years. They're worried about the health impacts, about roadside safety, and about the spread of into fields and trails. I acknowledge that staff have worked within the existing resources, but we need a visible step up. The community is looking for an increase in control efforts, not just reassurances that we are assessing it or taking it back. I want to see that reflected more clearly in the budget going forward, both in resources and measurable outcomes. I'd say the same about roads. The list of renewal projects from city staff often don't or never contain the roads that I hear regularly about. The residents of Barlow and Armitage have not had their road resurfaced in my lifetime. I have asked every single year for those roads to be addressed, and they have yet to appear on any ward highlights. Every single year, I have requested that Wood Kilton be resurfaced. It has never appeared in the ward highlights for the last few years. And I've asked for money just to explore transportation options for rural residents. Nothing. 4 years in a row, I've asked for any funding at all that could advance a multi-use pathway using the Beachburg rail line that the city owns. Nothing. I don't feel that the many hours I've put into presentations and meetings with staff around budget priorities for my ward have been at all reflected in what is funded. So to summarize, I will vote in favor of this budget because it moves in the right direction on big priorities, safety, paramedic response, and core infrastructure. But I also want to be very clear that I want future budgets to better reflect the issues rural residents have been raising consistently throughout this term. I will continue working with staff between now and the next budget to strengthen ward level focus. Residents need to see themselves and their priorities in what we highlight. Thank you very much, and I look forward to supporting the budget and pushing for those improvements ahead.